It was in about 1988. I had graduated from high school, was separated from my family by choice, and was living with a boyfriend. Ended up pregnant, and I thought that that was my only option. My name is Andrea. The clinic that we went to was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and it was about an hour and a half drive from where we lived. So I remember that it was cold and it was dark and gray. I remember the clinic workers just being very cold, not sharing any knowledge. I remember the doctor that day not saying very much. I had a reaction and they had to take me out. I don't remember getting from the procedure room to the recovery room. So it's just really images now. It was so long ago. It's just kind of images here and there that I recall. I recently found out through some research and remembering what happened that day. It was a suction abortion. The baby was approximately 11 weeks. From what I can recall, I didn't want to think about it. And at the time, we were under the impression that it wasn't a life. And we were just trying to hurry up and get it done. That was our thinking. I know it sounds harsh and cruel, but that's where we were at the time. And I wanted to get on with my life, but it was something that was always there, like a dark cloud over my life, really. So at the time, in the early 90s, more information was coming out. You know, this was pre-internet, pre-social media. So it would just be on the nightly news or in the newspaper where, you know, new science would come down and I would read the articles and they would talk about, you know, oh, well, now we know babies at this age, this is what they look like. And so I happened to come across an article one time and they had pictures and it hit me. It was about 1992, 1993-ish. That's when it really hit me what I had done. And that's when I really started to just try to bury it and forget it and not think about it. I think that if I had seen the pictures that are available now, I couldn't have done it. Because going in, I didn't know. And I still think a lot of that happens today. You just don't know. Over the years, and I've just come to this in the last 6 to 8 months after going through some healing, because the anger is gone. I was angry for so long about everything. I just didn't know where it was coming from. I thought it was, you know, my life, my choices that I made. I was not in a good place. I didn't relate it back to the burying of what I had done. Every once in a while, I would think about it around the time that the baby was due, which was in March. I had calculated that at the time. And in the last 6 or 7 years, it was getting harder and harder to keep it buried. I was starting to get tearful. I'm sure I was depressed. I did not hear about abortion in church at all. I felt like no one wanted to hear. I felt no one wanted to talk about it because everybody would think that I was a horrible person. Never thinking that there were probably other women around me in the same position. Almost exactly a year ago, I received a call from a friend that really just started a ball rolling. It put me back in contact with the father of the baby that I aborted. So that really just, the box that had been buried was just coming up of its own accord. And so through some conversations with him, a lot of prayer, conversations with my husband, listening to what God wanted me to do is what led me to the prayer breakfast. It came across my feed. I've never been involved in pro-life anything ever, believed in it, but just never did anything, and really felt God urging me to go there. So that's how I ended up at the prayer breakfast. Seth was speaking, and I really didn't know what to expect at this breakfast going in at all. Seth started to speak and was sharing the gospel as he was prefacing the video that he was about to show. I didn't know what to do. I just looked at my husband and he looked at me. He didn't know what to do. So just a lot went through my head in a very short period of time, whatever the time frame was that the video started. And at the last moment, at first I thought I was just going to look at the floor, and then at the last moment I knew that I had to look. I knew that I had to see what I had done, because even though I had had an abortion, I didn't really know what it was, what it looked like. I know I had learned in time what it had done, obviously, but I needed to look. So when I did, it was overwhelmingly sad, heartbreaking, but at the same time, and I can only explain this as this was God telling me that he forgave me for what I did. 100% instant, 1,000-pound weight was lifted off my shoulder, and I knew what the cross was for. At that moment, even though having grown up in church, it was that moment that I really got it. My husband and I were on our way home, and he was asking me how I was feeling because I was really quiet. And I had said to him that it was hard seeing the video, but it was something that I needed. And I equated it to a festering wound that became infected, that in order to treat it has to be lanced. And it seems like a harsh treatment, but that's how it gets clean. I think that a lot of people don't know what abortion actually is. They can't imagine what it is, and they need to see it. They need to see what it really is, because abortion is just a word, and people need to actually see it. I do not feel any guilt today. It's because of the cross that I don't feel any guilt. I've been through some counseling and healing ministries in the last few months, and God has redeemed me fully.
Hey, if you like the work we're doing on college campuses changing minds about abortion, make sure you drop us a like on this video, tell us what you think in the comments below, and then subscribe to our channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell. Join our movement to end ageism and end abortion.